is Irsa. I'm a level 7 apprentice. Well, I don't know if I can call myself an apprentice anymore because my EPA's done, but I've still got a couple exams left. So I'm not a fraud, I promise. I was an apprentice. I was actually an apprentice. I've been an apprentice for 5 years. God, can we? Yeah, okay. So I'm currently a level 7 apprentice. And when Jag asked me to do this, it sort of sent me into a whole period of reflection. And I'm going to show you this. This is me when I was like 16, ill. But it sort of sent me into a period of reflection. Because when you finish your apprenticeship, you do this thing called a gateway review meeting with your talent coach. And I did mine with Kaplan. So thinking back about my apprenticeship, my journey starts 5 years ago when I started my level 4 apprenticeship. I then went on to do a level 7. But I'm going to go a little bit further back than that, a little bit further back than 5 years, and give you a little background on me. So I'm the first in my family to have higher education. I'm the only child actually of first generation immigrant parents. Proud Muslim, proud Pakistani, so I don't appreciate you bringing up cricket at all, actually. And the reason I mention my background is because when you're the daughter of first generation immigrant parents, or just immigrants in general, or English is your second language, there's always this feeling of wanting to do the right thing because you appreciate your parents' sacrifices. And it comes with this inherent need or like a want to be the best person you can be. And what that meant for my parents was university. It was literally the cap and gown photo hung on the wall, and like the relatives can look at it when they come over. That's the whole point of a degree, obviously. And this idea of doing the right thing when I was so young, and she was riddled with mental health issues. I really struggled growing up with my mental health, and being in that position of appreciating the background that I have and wanting to do more with my life and sort of outgrowing the little town that I grew up in. It meant that I didn't feel like I wanted to do what everyone else was doing. It meant that I did not want to go to university, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And to be in a little town where people see apprenticeships as the cop-out option and the second option, or like if you didn't get into university, like well, you might as well do an apprenticeship then. That was sort of precedent of that. So then what happened was, when I was 17, my school were a bit concerned about me. They were like, she's going a bit crazy. We need to reel her back in. And they introduced me to something called the Social Mobility Foundation. And through that, I was able to embrace, sort of reel it back and think about my future. And I just said yes to this opportunity. And it ended up being that I did a week's internship at KPMG when I was 17. And it was sort of that moment where I was like, maybe this is for me. Maybe I want to do an apprenticeship. And so I went on. I worked really hard. I got good A-levels. And I got my results. And then I started my apprenticeship at PwC. The process for applying for apprenticeships was horrible. It was like assessment centres, interviews, aptitude tests. I was waitlisted and rejected. And that's where I'd argue the journey of being an apprentice started, because you have to go through that feeling of rejection and the stress of it all to appreciate your hard work. So I started my apprenticeship with PwC. These are my friends that I made. That was a netball game that we played. And the reason I included that is because not everything's so serious. Like, you can do really cool things with the friends that you make during an apprenticeship. We hiked Snowdon. We moved into a new office. It was a great time, a great 6 months before something happened in 2020, the pandemic. And that was horrible. started working from home, and I thought the 6 months that I had in my apprenticeship were amazing. I actually felt like I felt safe for a good period of time. But COVID hit 6 months in, and again, my mental health took a bit of a toll, dealing with working from home. It was my first time I actually discovered therapy, and that's something that I think I wouldn't have done if I had gone through this sort of hard period. And I learned a lot about myself in that period of hardship. But as I said, level 4 apprenticeship, I did do it. I studied hard. This was an empty train. Like, going back on a train after COVID was crazy. And then I did pass my ATT, which was the level 4 apprenticeship, which was great. Again, everything felt so safe. Everything felt so amazing. And then something else happened. So this company that I was working for, PwC, they decided to sell our business unit that I was working for. And PwC is an amazing place to work. Like, I hold nothing against them. They are, it's the greatest place to work. And I made the most amazing friends. And something that was really important to me, being young and a Muslim, Pakistani, was having the network, because there was so much diversity that I hadn't seen before, as coming from a predominantly white area, really small school, not having people that I sort of resonated with. And I really, really loved that. So then when this happened, it sent me down a spiral again. I lost that support network. I lost the Muslim network. I lost a lot of the friends. I wasn't with them as much as I wanted to be. But again, I was really uncomfortable. But in hindsight, it was probably one of the best things that could have happened. It was out of my control, but it was one of the best things that could have happened. And the reason for that is, in the periods where I've been uncomfortable so far, that's from the application process to COVID, to starting an apprenticeship, to all of it. In the periods where I was most uncomfortable was the periods I had the most growth. And in hindsight, that's really clear to see, but in the moment, it feels horrible. And I understand that now, at the end of the journey, when I reflect back. But at this period, when we were sort of moving and becoming Vialto partners, which is who I work for now, it was such an uncertain period. I was worried about adapting to a change, a huge, huge change. The size of the organization went down, which means the diversity went down. I didn't see myself anymore in the leaders that I had. It was a very, very big change for me. But again, I did use that experience for growth. And this move happened in, I want to say, about 2 years ago it happened. So I've been working at Vialto Partners for 2 years. And that's when I started my level 7 apprenticeship. So a level 7 apprenticeship started around the same time. And all of this has happened within those 2 years. And what I did was I turned that discomfort into an opportunity to grow. I couldn't change what was happening. I'm not going to change the CEO's mind that we're not doing this. He's not going to do it for me. I tried. I turned the opportunity into something really incredible, and I could not have done it if I hadn't gone through that discomfort. So I put myself out there. I said, let me embrace all this. And I did some really cool things. I was a volunteer at the Commonwealth Games, which is in Birmingham. This is me with a client and our partners at the Shard. I was interviewing our board of execs and our top clients, which was an insane opportunity. And similar to what Amara was saying about just saying yes, just doing it, like, who knows what's going to happen. So, and that's, the Shard turned teal. The only thing bad about this new company was the color scheme. Back then, I was like, why teal? But yeah. So and then since then, because I didn't see diversity, I didn't see myself, and I couldn't change that, I decided to become the change that I wanted to see. So I created a smaller level Muslim network initiative at work in this smaller company to support people like me. I pioneered something called the Ramadan Challenge, which was encouraging people of different backgrounds to buddy up with a Muslim colleague and fast for a day. That was interesting, but it was really fun. As Jag said, award shows, all of this cool stuff, working really hard, doing some amazing projects. I joined a different team where we were winning work for some really, really cool top level clients, which was really cool. But I can't talk about any of this if I don't talk about what happened before, if I don't talk about the pain, and I don't talk about that really hard feelings of uncomfortableness. And I know COVID was hard for all of us, but the feeling of uncertainty, what's going to happen. If I could tell her all of this is going to happen, she'd be so relaxed, but she wouldn't get the job done. She wouldn't have known in hindsight that pain is worth so much. So I'm going to end on 2 points. One is sometimes the choice that's right for everyone else and the stories you hear from everyone else that are really inspiring and amazing, sometimes they're not for you. Sometimes the right path for others is not the right path for you, and that's so fine. And sometimes it takes you longer, and that's also okay. And sometimes you take a different path, which is okay too. And sometimes you go off that path, and that's okay as well. And the second point I want to make is, in the face of discomfort, embrace it, because you're going to look back in hindsight and wish you did. And in that period of discomfort, you are going to grow the most. And I experienced a lot of it. So, yeah, embrace discomfort. Thank you. Sorry, does anyone have any questions?